Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy Iconic Masters? Once a rare and expensive to purchase commodity, Master sets are becoming more and more common. So for Iconic Masters, what reprints of note does this set contain versus those prior? And are there enough of them to justify the $9.99 per pack price tag? If so, which players was this meant for? Modern? Legacy? Commander? With over 25 cards downshifted in rarity to common in this set, perhaps even Pauper players? What? Released just 7 months after the previous Masters set and 4 months prior to the next Masters set, Iconic Masters has a lot it will be compared to. So, is Iconic Masters representative of the Masters series of reprint sets, or possibly just a symbol of the growing disconnect between company and consumer? Let's take a look. Before we begin, I feel it is important to look at the recent timeline of Masters sets. Iconic Masters is being released as part of a really close series of Masters sets, with Masters 25 set to launch a mere 4 months from now, and Modern Masters 2017 having been released in just March of this very same year. And that itself was launched less than 1 year after the previous Masters set. Eternal Masters, meaning that between June of 2016 and March of 2018, less than a 2-year period, Wizards of the Coast will have released a total of 4 Masters sets. Oversaturation. You know what I mean when I say oversaturation? Well, it's just one factor already working against Iconic Masters. The second is an experimental release that actually happened back at the start of September. For those unaware, Iconic Masters was available for sealed constructed play at HasCon, which took place on September 8th, 2017, over a month prior to its going on sale to the public. At HasCon, players were able to open and experience the launch of Iconic Masters, having absolutely zero spoilers or previews of the set prior. Attendees, in other words, got to experience playing a Magic set like the old days, with zero prior knowledge to what cards were going to be in it. But the old days had magazines that never mind that. While I am beyond impressed that Wizards of the Coast was able to pull this off, keep in mind that this is a company not only prone to leaks, but one that sometimes just leaks its own info on accident. Whoops. So it is well worth some amount of respect that they managed to pull off a completely blind launch party as they did. But nonetheless, in doing so, this may have damaged a lot of the hype and interest in Iconic Masters. Keep in mind, the public has now been aware of this set for over a month. It's being launched at the end of the first week of previews for the next special set, Unstable. You guys know what oversaturation is, right? That's another video. But the conversation is now 100% about Unstable at the moment, and there has been next to no announcements or social media mentions or pushes of Iconic Masters for weeks now. People have forgotten about this set if they even knew about its extremely limited launch in the first place. Furthermore, this is the first Masters set without a clear format in mind, whereas Modern Masters has been the inaugural and headline Masters set for the modern format, and Eternal Masters sought to offer eternal reprints for Legacy and Vintage players. Iconic Masters is somewhat ambiguous in name. What exactly is iconic about it? It turns out Wizards of the Coast and players both have very sharp, contrasting ideas about just what the word iconic means to Magic. Overwhelmingly, players assumed Iconic Masters would be a nostalgia-themed reprint set, diving into the quarter of a century worth of cards in order to celebrate its upcoming 25-year anniversary. Excited speculation ran rampant for a while, with players imagining old card frames, original artwork, even just classic cards like Shivan Dragon, cards that looked and felt like a representation of what Magic the Gathering was in the old days. This idea of the blind launch party was another indicator that maybe they pulled out all the nostalgia stops. Unfortunately, it appears that iconic means something else entirely to Wizards of the Coast, and the theme for this master set is not nostalgia, it is not modern, and it is not legacy, but it is creature types and tribes as they relate to each color. But no, not the iconic tribes like goblins or elves or merfolk. No, not those, but instead, well, we have dragons, that's good. Angels, yes, an iconic creature, certainly. Sphinxes, what? And hydras, and I think praetors? I don't... The set also does not feature any Planeswalker cards. No Planeswalkers, which is a bizarre omission for the card type that has become the literal symbol of Magic the Gathering since its introduction to the game. Okay, so never mind the goofy name, bizarre preview-less release, and lack of coherent theme and purpose. What cards are in this set? Are they worth anything? And is it fun to draft? Let's take a look. Let's start with financial value. As of the filming of this video, out of 68 rares and mythics, there are 18 cards total that have a value at or above $9.99 each. Compare that to Modern Masters 2017, which had 15 out of 68 at this range. Or Eternal Masters, which had 23 out of 68 in this price range. Modern Masters 2015 had 22 out of 68 cards at the rare or mythic level, valued at the time of release anyway, at $9.99 each. But this doesn't mean Iconic has better value than previous Masters sets, and it's important to note that out of those 18 cards, 9 of them are mythics. Remember that on average, you will only get 3 to 5 mythics per box. Some boxes might have 6, but there's going to be that one unlucky box with 2. Also, even though Modern Masters 2017 only had 15 in this range, most were heavily used staples and had values of $25 to even $40 each, whereas the median for Iconic Masters is much lower, as most of these cards are barely worth above $9.99. What about the other cards in the pack? Any value there? In contrast to Modern Masters 2017, which had $8 range uncommons such as Serum Visions and Path to Exile, the biggest money card here is Mishra's Bauble, now selling for a little over $8 each and likely dropping further still. Below that, we only have Thran Dynamo at $4 and Lightning Helix at just a smidge over $2 each. Some of the remaining cards have use. Bounce Lands, for example, are a staple of EDH mana bases. But at $9.99 a pack, there's very little besides those 18 rares and mythics, mostly mythics. And maybe you'll get lucky and get a Mishra's Bauble. Even dropping our gaze to cards worth half the cost of a pack, there's only 12 cards worth between $4.99 and $9.98. So when added to the previously mentioned 18, there are a total of exactly 30 cards worth $4.99 and up. So why was 2017 such a great value, both at the time and still? That's because so many of the cards it contained overwhelmingly were staples, with multiple formats, and within those formats, multiple decks running them. Mishra's Bauble was expensive, and is still an $8 uncommon here, but it's really played in only one specific deck in one format. Whereas the $8 uncommons of Modern Masters, in terms of Path to Exile and Serum Visions, are played across the spectrum. When I play the booster box game for this set, it'll probably be Mana Drain or Bust. Or will it? Because many of these blunders, from the lack of excitement to the oversaturation to the nebulous name, may have worked out in the player's favor in an unintended way. And that lies in the MSRP on these boxes. Everything I've mentioned so far, and maybe even the larger picture of lack of emphasis and support for Modern and Legacy, is causing Iconic Masters to sell already below $240 a box. As of the filming of this video, I see prices falling as low as $200 a box. That's a big cut off the top. Sponsor of this channel, Card Kingdom, is offering them at that price, as are many others. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw places go lower. store. This has a major effect on the potential value of a pack if you are able to pick up packs for less than MSRP. Remember, each dollar below MSRP adds value to this set, which, while it does lack a clear narrative, has a very nice assortment of cards nonetheless. What about gameplay? Gameplay, of course, is always hard to quantify, as one person's taste is different than another's. But as someone who did attend HasCon and has played in nearly half a dozen limited events there, as well as then taking that large assortment of cards, which I used to construct casual drafts, naturally supplementing with some proxies, but nonetheless, I feel very comfortable saying that the limited environment here has a lot of fun. Some of the existing themes, and there's a lot of them built in, are flying and prowess in Azurius, Golgari counters, which was very powerful. Believe it or not, Mill in Dimir, yes, Mill was a strategy, and I dug the cool defender theme that was present in blue-green. That being said, the overall power level is not in line with previous Master sets, feeling to me much more akin to a really good block set, and not quite the cube-like limited gameplay that Masters 2015 and, to a lesser extent, 2017 was able to capture. As with everything else Magic the Gathering makes, these booster packs were designed with draft in mind, and so the best way to spend your money here is playing in events and playing Magic with these Magic cards. Final conclusion: Iconic Masters has absolutely been released too soon after Modern Masters 2017, and too soon before Masters 25, and this oversaturation of Masters sets has caused apathy in the player base towards it. The set lacks a clear, cohesive purpose, as it does not appear to be for any one format, nor to even have a clear theme beyond the idea of iconic creature types that are not all that iconic. Nonetheless, there is a lot of value here, made all the more valuable by the fact that these are currently selling for below MSRP. Buying boxes to crack for profit is a bad strategy, but finding bargains at your local game store on drafts and other limited events could lead to both great reprints for your collection and a fun evening playing Magic. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out by remembering to like, share, subscribe, or just by leaving a comment. Will you be playing Iconic Masters at your local game store? Remember, you not only can't play Iconic Masters at Target or Walmart, you can't buy boxes there. So when you're spending that money, whether it's on special Masters sets or card sleeves and deck boxes, when it is possible, when it is reasonable, spend that money where you spend time playing this great game. And that is at your local game store whenever you can. And this video is brought to you by my and many other people's local game store, Card Kingdom, a brick-and-mortar pillar of this community, as well as the Patreon support of viewers such as you. These are the people that keep Tolarian Community College going and growing strong. So thank you.